this video, we're going to show you how to install a set of the Tusk Pannier Racks onto a Yamaha WR250R. For instructions on mounting panniers to these racks, refer to our Tusk Pannier assembly and installation video. If you're hauling any sort of luggage on your bike, the Tusk aluminum pannier and rack kit is an affordable choice that offers unbeatable value. The Tusk Pannier Racks are designed to work seamlessly with the Tusk aluminum pannier boxes, which are available in either black or silver and in 2 different sizes as well. These racks can also be used with a wide variety of panniers or plastic Pelican type cases if you choose. So we'll get right into it. The first step is to make sure all parts and hardware are accounted for. When you've done that, we'll go ahead and remove the seat and then move the CDI box out of the way. After we've done that, we can remove the 2 bolts that are holding the rear fender in place. When those are pulled, go ahead and remove the rear fender. The next step is to remove the 4 bolts securing the tail light assembly in place. You can see we've already done a fender eliminator kit on this bike, and it happens to be the DRC aluminum tail light kit, which is available on our website. If you're still running the stock taillight setup, the steps to install these racks are going to be the same. So with the taillight hardware removed, we're going to position the mounting plate directly up under the subframe, making sure to orient the side holes towards the rear end of the bike. Using 4 of the provided 6x35mm hex head bolts, we'll install them through the top of the subframe, through the upper mounting plate, and in our case, they'll run through the taillight bracket and into nuts provided with the taillight kit. For those of you running the stock taillight, you'll have threaded holes in the taillight assembly for these bolts. We're just going to leave all this hardware loose for now. The next step is to remove the helmet lock from the bike using the provided torx wrench. After that, we can move down and remove both the passenger foot pegs. On the right side of the bike, after we pull the passenger foot peg assembly, we're also going to replace the exhaust mounting bolt to give us clearance for the pannier rack. So we'll go ahead and remove that stock bolt and replace it with the provided 10x15mm button head bolt. With that tightened down, we're now ready to attach the racks to the bike. So we'll start with the right side, go ahead and position that rack up into place on the bike, and then using a provided 8x15mm hex head bolt, we'll first attach the rack through the hole in the exhaust hanger bracket on the subframe, and then through a provided flat washer and into a provided nylock nut on the back side. We're just going to leave that loose and move down and start a provided 8x25mm button head Allen bolt into the upper hole in the passenger foot peg, through the rack mounting hole and into the subframe. After that's in place, we can move back up and install a provided 8x20mm hex head bolt through a flat washer, through the upper rack mounting tab and into the upper mounting plate. Finally, for this side, we're going to move back down and install another 8x25mm button head bolt into the lower mount on the passenger foot peg. Again, we're just going to leave all this hardware loose for now. Doing that allows us to line up the other mounting points before tightening everything down. So now we can move to the left side of the bike and attach the other rack. For this side, we're going to start with an 8x35mm button head bolt in through the top passenger peg mount, through the pannier rack hole and into the subframe. Next, we'll move back and install an 8x20mm hex head bolt through a flat washer, through the upper mounting tab and into the upper mounting plate. After that, we'll take another 8x20mm hex head bolt and secure the middle mounting tab to the helmet lock bracket on the subframe. Again, we're just leaving all this hardware fairly loose for now. The last piece of hardware on this rack is the lower mount for the passenger foot peg, and we'll secure that using an 8x35mm button head bolt. So now with all the hardware for both rack sides loosely installed, we can move to the rear brace. And this will slide right up into place and attach using the 4 remaining 6x25mm hex head bolts. Those are going to install through the rear brace, through the rack hoop plate, through a flat washer and into a nylock nut. We'll repeat that same sequence for all 4 of those mounts on the rear brace. When all 4 of those bolts are in place, we'll have everything loosely assembled. So the next step will be to go back through and tighten down all the hardware. We're going to start with the 4 bolts in the upper mounting plate. Once we have all 4 of those bolts tight, we're going to move down on either side rack and work our way from the front to the back. So tighten down both passenger peg mounts, and then we'll move to the middle rack mount. Once that's tight, we'll move to the upper rear mount. And now the left rack is tightened down, we'll move over and do the same thing for the right rack. So the passenger peg mounts, the exhaust hanger bracket mount, and finally the upper plate mount. After both racks are tight, the 4 bolts on the rear brace can be snugged down. The last step of this install would be to secure the helmet lock into place, and again make sure you're using a little medium strength thread locker on all these bolts. Once you've done that, you can reinstall the rear fender, secure the CDI box back into place, and reinstall the seat, and then you're done with installation. If you're going to be using Tusk panniers with these racks, refer to our Tusk Pannier assembly and installation video. Rocky Mountain ATV MC is the leader for parts, apparel, and accessories for all your dual sport and adventure needs. Thanks for watching.